At Better Bearings, we're all about better service. We know what we're talking about. If you've got problems, give us a call.
I'm Grenade and you're watching Down Under Derby TV.
This is Pink Mist here from the Canberra Roller Derby League, and we are here live from Canberra for the Quad Save the Queen tournament. On the track we have Canberra's own Vice City Rollers versus the Northside Rollers Death Stars. So I'll be speaking to you on my lonesome for this game because I don't have a friend, so bear with me. I'll try not to talk your ear off. We've already got the Vice City Rollers and the Northside's Death Stars lined up for the first jam. I'll start running through the numbers for you and who's who. On the track jamming for the Vice City Rollers, we have Chaos. And for the Northside Rollers Death Stars, I have to catch a number. I think it's number 13, which is the captain. I'm just trying to find her name on the list. Have to claim a bit of ignorance of not knowing everybody's names. Okay, I was wrong. Number 73. So this is Liz Williams, 73 for Northside Death Stars, and Chaos. And Chaos from the Vice City Rollers is out for lead jammer, first jam. Okay, our Northside Rollers jammer number 73 has also got out, but Chaos has got through the pack and called it off for a quick 3 points before Northside could score. Excuse me, I just commentated another game and I'm a little bit dry. So we come here from track 2 at the Tuggeranong Southern Cross Stadium in Canberra. This is the home ground from the Canberra Roller Derby League, and the Vice City Rollers are our A travel team who are ranked very highly, either 3rd or 4th in the country at the moment. So Northside Death Stars, we have lead jammer for number 88, which is Missy Bowler. And Freudian Slits had a bit of trouble there in the pack, but she is through. And let's see if the Death Stars can get some points on the board. And she's quickly called it. 2 points to the Northside Rollers Death Stars. So, quick swing down the list. Canberra Roller Derby League Vice City Rollers. We have Chaos, number 56. Anthrax, 89. Bambi Von Smasher, number 411. Very Bad, 88. Behemoth Rhapsody, 1975. Bubble O'Kill, 303. Knuckles, number 604. Freudian Slit, 1337. Isabelligerant, 1551. Madge, 1236. And I'll pause there for a second. We have Knuckles, or otherwise known as Nux, number 604, jamming for the Vice City Rollers, and she is through for lead jammer. Last on my list, Overbearing, number 327, who happens to have a birthday today. Happy birthday, Over. I think she's like 23 or something. Rainbow Spite, number 10. Stone Jet, number 70. Sugar Plum Crazy, K9. And Shaggle Frock, number 77, who is not skating this game. So Knuckles, or Nux, has lead jammer for the Vice City Rollers, and she has got another scoring pass there. The Northside Death Stars jammer has passed the panty to the pivot, obviously having a lot of difficulty against the Vice City Rollers packs, which are being known to be very daunting. So Nux has called it. I'll just do a quick score check. So that brings the Vice City Rollers to 17 and the Death Stars remain on 2. Okay, Booker and Jam number 3. On the jam line for the Vice City Rollers, we have Berry Bad, number 88. She's coming up against a pretty solid wall of Death Star blockers who are bracing very well and keeping her behind. However, B52 from the Death Stars has paid for that blocking. She's now in the bin. And we have lead jammer status for the Death Stars. Number 55 from the Death Stars, who is Champagne Corker. And she's got through for 2 points with the VCRs, getting nil. Sugar Plum Crazy is now taking a trip to the bin. So we have 1 blocker apiece from each team at the moment with a score of 17 versus 4. Currently the VCRs ahead. So we have the captain of the Death Stars, number 73, up jamming. She's being held up by Anthrax, Bohemoth Rhapsody and Spite. And on the track for the Death Stars, number 11, number B52, 801, who is now coming to the sin bin, quickly followed by the Death Star jammer. So I believe the Death Star jammer has been called for a cut track, but I did not quite catch that. But we have a power jam here for the Vice City Rollers with Freudian Slit number 1337 jamming and getting through for a quick 5 points. Okay, our Death Star jammer is back on the track, number 73, which is the captain. And that's Liz Williams. I'll just call her Liz. Freudian Slit there for another 5-point pass. And the Vice City Rollers drawing a cut off number 73, Bohemoth Rhapsody, managing to get behind her when she re-entered the track. Okay, I'll have a quick whip through the Death Stars names and numbers. We have Suspender, number 11, Spink, 182, Foxy LaRue, number 192, Kim Bully, 277, Grenade O'Connor, number 33, Bliss Star, number 4, Champagne Corker, 55, Sunny Onslaught, 5 a.m, Liz Williams, number 73, which is captain. And then we have Aka Armoff, 801, Bioweapon, 810, who I believe is not skating, Zombatelli, Screamatoma, 83, and Missy Bowler, 88, and KO, 98. The Duchess of Hazard, Boom, Bella Bomber, B52, and on the bench we have Cinnamon Whip and Gingerbread Slam. So on the bench for the Vice City Rollers, we have Fauna Cat and Sewer Rat. So we have a team timeout that's been called by, I believe, our green team, which is the Death Stars, just to clarify that the Vice City Rollers are wearing black for this game. So the Vice City Rollers are already ready to go there with Knuckles, number 604, lined up for jammer. Okay, timeout over. We are about to head into jam number 5. Quick score update. Canberra City Rollers, Vice City Rollers I should say, are on 42 versus 4 to the Death Stars. So they haven't had much luck scoring in the last 5 minutes since the first few jams. We have 88 jamming for the Death Stars, which is Missy Bowler. I think she's jammed a few today, and Nux is out there as lead jammer for the VCRs. So the VCRs are giving good chase on Miss Ebola, but she is through after they've ended up out of play. And Nux has called it quick 4 points to 0 for the Death Stars. So in Canberra over this long weekend, we have 12 teams from all over Australia and one indeed all the way from New Zealand playing at this Quad Save the Queen tournament. So we will be streaming live from track 1 and 2 for the majority of the tournament. So please join us as much as you can. Okay, on the line we have Chaos, number 56 for the VCRs. Struggling a little bit there at the back of the pack against some pretty fearsome walls from the Death Stars. And jamming, and Chaos is through for lead jammer, but she's closely followed by Northside Death Stars number 182, which is Spink. Chaos has called it with 3 points going to the VCRs to the Death Stars 0, which brings us to a score of Vice City Rollers currently on 49 versus 4 to the Death Stars. So they, a lot of unanswered points at this early stage of the game. The Vice City Rollers being ranked one of the sort of top 4 teams in Australia, this was always going to be a bit of a tough game. Okay, Freudian Slit on the line for Vice City Rollers. The jammer number 55, Champagne Corker from Death Stars. Champagne Corker is through for lead jammer, so let's see if the Vice City Rollers can help out Freudian Slit. So Corker is fighting through the pack for some points, and she is through. So there is, and she's also lapped the VCR jammer, so she scored 5 points. And we've had a panty pass. Freud has passed the starter number 89, Anthrax. Good pressure by the VCRs, forcing Death Star to call that. However, they did pick up, I think, 7 points in that jam, so they are now on 11. And the VCRs remain on 49. Jamming for Death Star, we have the captain again, number 73, Liz. And blockers on the track, you have to forgive me, I can't see all their numbers, but I can see we have number 98 out there, which is KO. And 801, blocking for the Death Stars, which is Aka Armoff. So Nux is through for lead jammer for the VCRs. And our Death Star jammer is still trying to fight through the pack of VCR blockers who have been known to be a little bit ferocious. Okay, Nux has scored a 5-point pass, and she's hoping to go for her second 5-point pass, and she has managed to slam her way through the pack. Our Death Star jammer is stuck behind the pack at the moment, I think. She's having a bit of trouble with those walls and the water falling. So we've had another star pass by the Death Star jammer. She's passed it to 192. But Knuckles, number 604, has called that off before they could score any points. That was a very good jam from Knuckles, though. We are now having a score of VCRs 64 to the Death Stars, sitting on 11 points. Okay, on the jam line for the VCRs, we have Chaos, who is in fact from Finland and is visiting Canberra for a year or so for studies. So she is from Team Finland, ordinarily, and we're lucky enough to have someone of her skills staying in Canberra and skating with the Vice City Rollers, hopefully for some or most of this year. I believe Chaos was on Team Finland at the World Cup in December in Texas, along with some other VCRs, which was Bambi Von Smasher and shortstop number 6, who is currently playing in the US of A for the Gotham Girls in New York, which is pretty exciting. And I know she'll be listening now. Hey, Shorty. We heart you. Lots of cuddles. Okay, I digress. So we have on the jam line for the VCRs Bambi Von Smasher, number 411. Bambi is fighting her way through the track and nearly through, but she managed to avoid a cut there and is now gone through up the inside. So our Death Star jammer has caught up the back there, and it looks like we've had another star pass there for the Death Stars. Their jammer has passed it off to the pivot, number 192, who is getting on her head. But Bambi Von Smasher is messing with her head a little bit, trying to do the commonly used term, eat the baby, which is when the other jammer will hold up the opposing jammer to give the pack an opportunity to catch up and block them again. So that was good work there by the pivot who became jammer for Death Stars. She managed to whip through and get 2 points for the Death Stars. A quick score update. Okay, 76 to the VCRs versus 13 for the Northside Rollers Death Stars, and we are just nearly at halfway mark. So we have Freudian Slip fighting at the back of the pack against some very good walls there by the Northside Rollers. But Northside Rollers have lead, and she has got through the pack and picked up a quick 2 points and called it off before Freudian Slip could score. So that was smart play by the Death Stars. They need to try and keep that points differential down if they can. So on the line for the Death Stars, we have number 98, which is KO. And we have Boom, which is the Duchess's Hazard. Jamming is number 73, Liz. And we have jamming for the Vice City Rollers, Knuckles, or Nux as she is called, number 604. Nux is a fearsome jammer and blocker. So our Northside jammer, Liz, has been sent to the bin that the referee is motioning a multiplayer. So I'm unsure what she did. And Nux has just been forced to cut the track, so that was unfortunate. So, but she will only have to serve however long Liz has been sitting there, so which isn't too long. We now have a power jam situation for the Northside Death Stars, which might be the first in the game. Knuckles powering through the pack. Now she is no longer lead, of course, because she's taken a trip to the bin, so we will be seeing a full 2-minute jam, which the jammers always know about. So both these teams have already had games today. I cannot boast to know the score of the Northside game against Convict City. However, I know the Vice City Rollers took out a very good win against the Sydney B team, the Snipers, first thing this morning. Nice work there by Spite at the back of the pack, drawing back the number 11 jammer for the Northside Rollers. Number 11 is Suspender. Okay, so we have 12 minutes or so left in the game, and the VCR is sitting on 89 versus the Death Stars on 21. So far, quite a convincing lead by the Vice City Rollers, but it certainly is a little bit early in the game to start making any calls. We have Chaos here, number 56, who's managed to stick it just up at the outside to get lead jam of the CRDL Vice City Rollers. Oh, but 88. Oh, looked beautiful for a second there, running up the inside, but she has been called for a cut. Miss Ebola. And we have one of her blockers, Duchess of Hazard, about to exit the sin bin, and Chaos sweeping around those Northside blockers. I believe Chaos has some kind of skating hockey kind of background, so has some awesome footwork to boot. And on the track also for the Vice City Rollers, we have Overbearing, whose birthday it is today. I might sing later on if you're lucky. Bohemian Rhapsody, number 1975, heading to bin for the VCRs. And number 88, Jammer, is out from the Northside Rollers, and she's done an excellent job sweeping around the outside. Okay, and that brings in that jam. Quick score check. That was a good jam. We have 107 to the Vice City Rollers, 21 to the Northside Rollers. (4-1-1). Bambi Von Smasher lining up for the Vice City Rollers against our Northside Rollers, number 55, Corker, who we've seen jam a few times. So she's managed to sneak through on the inside, not far behind Bambi. So Bambi will have to get around the track quickly to pick up a few points. The pack is a bit spread out, but they've come back together now. Bambi's quickly whipped through to grab 2 points and has called it before the Northside jammer could catch the pack. So far it's been a pretty penalty kind of light game. We've only had 5 penalties for the VCRs and about 7 for the Northside Rollers. After coming off a game where there was 7 foul outs, I think we'll see how this one goes. Not these two teams, a previous game. Nice work, lead jammer Liz for Northside Rollers. She's coming through for a scoring pass. They're keeping the pressure on, but she's doing an excellent job and has called it as she was hit out by some of those Canberra ferocious blockers. Jamming for Northside, we have 182. Whose name Spink. Yes, I've seen Spink a few times. She is out on the jam line. Looks like we have a timeout called by the Vice City Rollers. They probably just having a bit of a regroup. So what other blockers we have? 277, Kim Bully, I should say. Foxy LaRue, number 192, out there blocking for Northside. 801, Aka Armoff. So they'll just be having a bit of a chat during this timeout. So I guess I'd like to say thanks to all the amazing teams who have made their way all the way to Canberra to join us this weekend in the cold. We have the Canberra Roller Derby League. We have the A team and the B team, the Vice City Betamax, playing this weekend. We have the Sydney Roller Derby League Assassins and Snipers, Snipers being their B team. Southside Derby Dolls, WA Roller Derby, Northside Rollers, Perth Roller Derby, Convict City Rollers, Richter City all the way from New Zealand, South Sea Roller Derby and Varsity Derby League, another Canberra league. So we have a lot of girls have travelled from Perth and New Zealand. Okay, so we have Bubble O'Kill on the jam line, or jamming, for the Vice City Rollers. So this is first jam for Bubbles tonight. She tends to do more blocking, but she does pretty well when she whacks a star on her head. So nice work, Bubbles, there, getting through the pack for lead jammer. But 182 has managed to get through for the Northside Rollers. Bubbles has called it, though, quickly for a cool 4 points to Northside Rollers 0. So there's only 8.5 minutes left in this first half, and the Vice City Rollers have a fairly convincing lead at the moment, 113 to 24 to the Northside Rollers. Bambi Von Smasher jamming, stuck behind those Northside Rollers, and we have 88, Miss Ebola, who we've seen jamming a lot for the Death Stars. Bambi again messing with blockers' heads. Trying to draw a cut on... Oh, and we've had a bit of an incident. Bambi lost her jammer panties, so don't know what happened there, but with that jam led to 4 points being awarded to the Northside Rollers, to Bambi 0. She did not have a panty on and couldn't get any points. Nice work by Freudian Slit getting around the pack, but she's not lead jammer. And the Death Star jammer number 55, Corker, has called that off. And we had 0-all for that jam. So the score is 113 Vice City Rollers to 28 Northside Rollers Death Stars. Chaos, 56 on the line for the Vice City Rollers, and number 73, captain of the Northside Death Stars, is taken jammer, Liz. She's been jamming a lot for the Northside Death Stars. She's doing a pretty good job, but they have come up against a pretty phenomenal team, Vice City Rollers, so they're still making some pretty good scores on the board, though. Chaos whipped around there for a quick 5-point pass, managing to lap Liz, who is just getting out of the pack past Stone Jet. Chaos calling it off after getting another 4 points for the VCRs, bringing the score to 122 to 28. So the Death Stars haven't scored for a few jams, I think. Okay, Bambi has lined up on the jam line with a star on her head this time. We'll hope that she doesn't have another panty malfunction. Now jamming for the Death Stars. I can't quite catch her number. Sorry, you'll have to forgive me. I don't know their team as well because I'm a Canberra girl. Bambi Von Smasher, lead jammer for the Vice City Rollers. And we have Northside jammer just getting through in the pack, but Bambi has tried a little bit more jammer on jammer action. She's been doing that pretty much all day. And we'll see, I think, Bambi whipped through for a quick 2 points versus the Death Stars managed to pick up 1 point, which was pretty good considering they did not have lead. Okay, we have Freudian Slit on the jam line again against 88. Missy Bowler, 88 has also been one of the good jammers here for the Death Stars, and she's got through for lead jammer. She very aggressive jamming there to get through against the VCR walls. Freudian Slit, however, is also through, so she'll be able to put pressure on her to call it off. We'll see if Death Stars can pick up a few points in this jam, and it has been called. And it looks like 3 points to the Death Stars, and VCR's not getting any points on that occasion. So we have only 3 minutes left in this first half here at the Tuggeranong Southern Cross Stadium, with the Canberra Vice City Rollers playing the Northside Rollers Death Stars. Score is 128 to the Vice City Rollers and 32 for the Death Stars. So quite a convincing lead for the Vice City Rollers. However, the Death Stars have been playing very well against what is considered one of Australia's top teams. So they've picked up lead jammer this time, and they have done that quite a bit. Number 55, Corker, lead jammer. And not far behind her is Chaos, number 56 from the VCRs. So let's see what the Death Stars can do, whether they can try and get some quick points. And she did manage to pick up one. Chaos didn't get any points on that jam. Okay, we have less than 2 minutes left on the clock, so this would be maybe the last jam or second last jam. Jamming for the VCRs is number 411, Bambi Von Smasher, but she's been caught up in the pack and recycled back. And we have Liz, number 73, with lead jammer for the Death Stars. She's been taking a very heavy jamming load for her team. So she's doing a great job. I imagine she's getting a bit fatigued this far into the first half. So the Death Stars put a few points on the board. They're sitting at 35 versus 128 for the Vice City Rollers. So there is nearly 100 points in the game at the moment. We have 182 on the line. Excuse me, voice is a bit croaky. Spink, number 182 on the line for Northside Rollers. She's jammed a fair bit also in this half for the Death Stars. She's trying to sneak through the pack. And Freudian Slit, however, is through for the VCRs, getting lead jammer. She's been jamming a fair bit, been quite successful today and had a very good game earlier against the Sydney Snipers. So 182, oh there you go. We've had a star pass to Foxy LaRue, so Spink pass the star. However, we've ended up with a track cut from the pivot, who is now the jammer, number 192, Foxy LaRue. So unfortunately, that is a jammer in the bin for our Northside Death Stars. So this is giving the Vice City Rollers a power jam. And Freudian Slits just snuck up the inside. Some very good assisting from Vice City Rollers. So there's not much time left on the clock. This will be the final jam for the first half now. Freudian slit. I blinked and missed it, but she has ended up in the bin. I will see if I can work out what she did. I think it was a low block. That's just judging from my bad sight of the penalty board, so if I got it wrong, feel free to tweet about it. Nice work from Anthrax, collecting Foxy LaRue on the inside line there and forcing her back, so she's had to be recycled behind the pack. And that's it. Looks like we are on half time. Okay, so quick score update. Canberra Roller Derby League's Vice City Rollers are 143. And the Northside Rollers Death Stars are on 40. So we have 103 lead to the Vice City Rollers at this half-time point. I believe there's a chance that the Vice City Rollers will have to start with a jammer in the bin. I did not see if Freudian slip was released before the half-time whistle went. In terms of the penalty board, we are actually looking not too bad. Everyone's playing pretty clean. We have number 73 from the Death Star Rollers, Liz Williams. She's on 3 penalties, but Liz has jammed like a demon the whole first half, so as we all know, jammers tend to attract more penalties. I'm Pink Mist, and I think I'll sign off to have a quick break, and I'll be back with you when we hit the second half of this game here in Canberra at the Quad Save the Queen tournament with the Canberra's own Vice City Rollers versus the Northside Rollers Death Stars. Ciao.
At Better Bearings, we're all about better service. We know what we're talking about. If you've got problems, give us a call.
Has this ever happened to you? Fumbling your marker. Your marker's not working. Trying to scrub off those pesky markers in the shower.
I have a severe sweating problem. Before I got my Spank Alley armbands, the refs were always telling me to reapply my numbers. But now, I can stay in the game.
My Spank Alley armband's second as a rope. Now I can lock up the competition. Thanks, Spank Alley!
But wait, there's more. If you order now, you'll get not just 1, but 2 armbands. That's 1 for each of your arms.
Thanks, Spank Alley!
Spank Alley armbands. Get spanked.
And 40 to Northside. So in this first jam, we have number 73, Liz, captain of the Northside Death Stars. So she is not lead jammer, I believe, but Freudian slit for the Canberra Roller Derby League is now in the bin. So it may be that we end up with a 2-minute jam. Now the Vice City Rollers, we've had a little bit of carnage here with the sin bin, fair bit of out of play blocking. Chaos from the Vice City Rollers has just come to the bin, and we are seeing Is a Belligerent number 1551 and Freudian Slit just leaving the bin, Freudian Slit being the jammer for the Vice City Rollers. Okay, back on the track we have Liz number 73 from Death Stars. She is racking up a few points here. She's doing quite well against those Canberra walls. And Freudian Slit flicking around the outside there. 4-point pass for Freud. So Northside Rollers trying to very hard to assist their jammer, but Canberra plays a pretty controlled game usually, and they are indeed controlling at this stage in the game. And Liz from the Death Stars is being recycled back by that Canberra pack. And we have seen an end to the first jam of the second half. Canberra putting some points on the board, but also the Death Stars have managed to get some points with that due to power jam situation. Okay, so on the line for Canberra, we have Bambi Von Smasher jamming against 88, which is Miss Ebola from the Death Stars. Miss Ebola had a good first half jamming for the Death Stars. She's doing a good job. Canberra dragging her back though, and while Bambi Von Smasher fights her way through the front of the pack against the Death Star blockers. We have number 192 Foxy LaRue and number 11 out there for the Death Stars, which is Sue Spender. 98 KO just joined the back of the pack after some time in the penalty box. So Bambi Von Smasher just got a 5-point pass there, and it looks like number 88, well it is a fact, number 88, Death Stars, is going to the bin. I did not see the penalty, but I think it might have been a cut track. Another 5 points on the board there for Bambi Von Smasher. She's not a skater you probably want to have a power jam. Very seasoned professional who has skated for the Vice City Rollers for a number of years, since its inception in 2010, I believe, or 2009, something like that, 2010. So I'm Pink Mist here from Canberra, from the Canberra Roller Derby League, so you have to forgive me that I have much better knowledge of the skaters from Canberra on the track, but I'm trying my best to learn our girls from the Death Stars names, who are doing a pretty good job, but there is some fairly phenomenal blocking going out there from the Vice City Rollers. So I think that jam came to its natural conclusion, and that was a big jam for the Vice City Rollers. Their points have blown out a bit, 185 to 54 for the Northside Death Stars. And Northside is calling a timeout. Their bench coach has called timeout, so the girls can regroup after that jam. So we have been live here from track 2 pretty much most of the day, and there is at least 2 more games today after this one for people in the interwebs to stick around and watch. This is a pool 3 game. In pool 3 we have, oh sorry, misreading, in pool 1. Pool 1 we have the Canberra Vice City Rollers. We also have the Sydney Roller Derby League Snipers, which is their B team. We have the Northside Death Stars, which of course we're watching at the moment, and Convict City, who are all the way from Hobart to join us in this tournament. Okay, so it looks like the team timeout has ended, and now the officials have called a timeout. So bring on the elevator music. Let's talk about who's on the jam line. We have 604 Nux or Knuckles from the Canberra Roller Derby League up against number 55 Corker from Northside Rollers. Corker's also been jamming a fair bit for her team tonight or this afternoon. For you out there, it's nearly 4 p.m. here in Canberra. We had a frosty start to the morning. It's been about -5 and -6 degrees all week in the morning, so some of our guests are probably a bit shocked. So I'm not quite sure what the refs are chit-chatting about, but There's pointing and movement and running. Okay. Whatever that was, it seems to be now over. And we have jam on. Knuckles or Nux for the Vice City Rollers. Everyone falling in a heap. But they're up again. And our Northside Rollers Death Star Jammer is through for lead jammer. Nice job. She managed to avoid all that carnage. Number 55, Corker. However, and we have jammer for the Vice City Rollers on her way to the bin. 604, Nux. But she is closely followed by Corker. And so Nux has been released from the jam box and, not jam box, penalty box. And Corker will have to wait to be released. She actually tried to leave too early then. I'm unsure if that means she'll be awarded another penalty, but we have Stone Jet for the Vice City Rollers coming and to the penalty box as well. Nux is out there putting some points on the board for Canberra. Another score pass for Knuckles. Death Stars Jammer is also back scoring now at number 55, Corker. Right. Sorry, I had a seniors moment and just started watching then. Okay, that was chaos jamming for the Vice City Rollers. We have Freudian Slit coming up to the line to jam this jam against 182 from the Death Stars. So we've started with one blocker in the bin, Bubble Oak Hill from the Vice City Rollers, but she has just been released, so she is back out there. Okay, pretty packed up pack here, and Freudian Slit is through though for lead jammer for the VCRs. We still have our Northside Rollers jammer Spark, who is struggling a little bit against those tough walls. Nice work there by the Vice City Rollers. They've managed to hit out the pivot come jammer after a star pass to the pivot. But she's just skipped through the inside there, which is our number 192, Roxy LaRue from the Death Stars. And the jam is being called, I believe, or was over. Freudian Slit collecting an extra 4 points there. So Vice City Rollers have cracked the 200 point margin, or mark, sorry. The margin is not quite that. It's 140 points ahead of Northside, who is sitting on 68. Bambi Von Smasher jamming there for the Vice City Rollers. And we have Liz again. She's a bit of a demon, Liz. She is jamming what feels like every second or third jam. So she's been on a lot. It's done a really good job for her team. Bambi Von Smasher through for lead jammer after a fair bit of work there to get through those Death Stars packs. Oh, straight through the pack then for Bambi. And we've had another star pass. So the Northside Rollers have... Oh, Apex, jump, Bambi, Von Smasher. That was very well landed. Now our Pivot, who now has Jam and Panty, so is the jammer for the Death Stars, has managed to pop through the pack as well. They've had quite a few panty passes in this game, and it's actually turned out well for them. Their jammer getting out of the pack. All right, we have Bubble Kill hitting the jam line against 88. Miss Ebola, who has, much like Liz, 73, has been jamming a lot for her team. Bubble Kill, I think this is her second jam for the night. Traditionally, she's a blocker for the VCRs, but is also a very good jammer. As we can see, she just busted through that pack, except they've managed to catch up now. But the Vice City Rolls are giving Miss Ebola a fair bit of grief there at the back of the pack as well. Bubble Kill through for lead jammer. After a bit of a fight through that pack, we have one blocker from coming to the bin, number 277, I believe, Kimberly. Nice hitting there by the Vice City Rollers, recycling 192 Foxy LaRue to the back of the pack. Behemoth Rhapsody taking a trip to the penalty box as well for the Vice City Rollers. Bubbles using some nice footwork there to get through the pack on the outside. And now she has a power jam. Now, I believe Kimberly was our original jammer, and she did a star pass to 192, who is now in the bin. Did not see what penalty, so that was another star pass that I seemingly missed. And we have another blocker in the bin for the Death Stars. Number 11, Suspender. Okay, that jam has come to an end. We are nearly halfway through the second half. Vice City Rolls have taken a commanding lead of this game. Not far off hitting a 200-point lead. However, the Northside Rollers girls have been putting up some pretty awesome walls, and also their jammers have been very aggressive and pushing the Vice City Rollers jammers very hard. So this is by no means been an easy game at all. We have Chaos, number 56, as lead jammer for the Vice City Rollers. As I was talking earlier, Chaos is currently visiting Canberra from Finland, and she has had a lay down on the ground and called it off and checked on another skater's well-being. She's a bit like that. They're nice, the Finnish. Hello, Finland, if you're listening. All right. New Jam, Freudian Slit for the Vice City Rollers against Liz, number 73, captain of the Death Stars, our friends from the Northside Rollers. Freud running into a bit of trouble there at the back of the pack with those blockers doing a pretty good job holding her up. And it looks like we have Liz with lead jammer for the Death Stars. We have a cut track penalty called on Foxy LaRue, number 192 for the Death Stars. So her team will start with 1 in the bin. The Vice City Rolls have a full complement of blockers, and we have Missy Bowler, number 88 from Death Stars, stepping up next to Bambi Von Smasher for 1-1 for the Vice City Rollers. So anyone in Canberra or near Canberra, there is plenty of action all weekend. So if you're at home listening to my exciting voice and watching this awesome game and wishing you would be here, you can still make it. $10 on the door. There's full 3 days of derby. Today, tomorrow and Monday there's a couple of finals. So come on down, Tuggeranong Southern Cross Club Stadium, all welcome. There is plenty of awesome derby to be had. The first rounds wrap up sort of tomorrow by lunchtime, and then we turn into finals. It's all very complicated, but someone will tell us where our teams rank, and then we'll play other teams. That's the way it's going to roll anyway. I have no doubt that Vice City Rolls will probably be up there. They've had 2 very good games, but they still have one more game in their pool after this one against Convict City, who are here from Hobart. And similarly, our Northside Rollers will also have to come up against, I think, Sydney Snipers or the Convicts. I can't quite recall the schedule from earlier in the day. Nice work from Chaos there, just touching Miss Ebola 88 out and dragging her back so she had to reset. We've got another panty pass, and that was almost really nice work, but she managed to get collected there and has had to be dragged back. Sometimes panty passes don't give you a huge advantage, but it can put fresh legs out there. And Boom from the Northside Rollers seem to have a bit of a big land on her butt then. So it looks like she's a little bit sore, but she is skating back out there, cringing a fair bit. That's Duchess of... Oh, sorry, I get a Duchess of Hazard. I wanted to say Mayhem. Okay, Duchess of Hazard, but she might need to put a bit of ice on that. Okay, on the jam line, Bubble O'Kill. Bubbles out there for the Vice City Rollers. And against her we have number 55 from the Death Stars, which is Corker, I should say. Corker's had a pretty good game as well for her team. So next up after this game, I would tell you, but I've lost my schedule, but there is 2 more games on this track tonight. So I'm just having a quick check of the penalty board for those watching at home who like this sort of stuff. So far, it's been an averagely clean game, not too bad. Behemoth Rhapsody from the Vice City Rollers is sitting on 5 majors. I believe she was fouled out of her first game this morning, so she does put her body on the line though, Bowie, and so sometimes that tends to attract penalties. And the other skaters have a mix of between 1 and 3 majors. So at this stage, everyone's played a pretty clean game. Game I watched earlier, there was 7 foul outs. So I think we're better placed in this game. That wasn't from Canberra or the Death Stars, though. Okay, so Vice City Rollers is sitting on 281 points, so they are leading by about 210 at the moment to Northside 71. In this jam, we have Freudian Slit jamming for the Vice City Rollers. And it looks like our Northside Rollers jammer, she was almost out the front of the pack, but she's been recycled back by the Vice City Roller blockers. We have Nux and Chaos in the pack wreaking havoc. Freudian Slit also was recycled back, so she is still fighting her way through the pack. And both these jammers are having a pretty tough jam, but we've had a win-win here for the Death Stars. Their jammer has got through for lead jammer. Freudian Slit's still struggling a bit to get through. And some good blocking there from Death Stars, hitting Freud out and taking her back. So I think Freud is calling for assistance and getting that panty pass out to Chaos, who's just straight through the pack. So that was a very good call on Freud's part to pass that over. And that's put pressure on them to call it. So we have Kim Bully, Roxy LaRue, Suspender, and Aka Armoff as blockers on the track for Death Stars, because blockers are people too, so we do like to talk about them occasionally. The Vice City Rollers have Bambi Von Smasher and Isabel Belligerent, Rainbow Spite, and someone else who I can't see out there blocking. Now, sorry, I should get back to the jammers now. Berry Bad from the Vice City Rollers is jamming. Berry, I don't think, has jammed. Illegal star pass. Uh-oh. Okay, so it looks like we had an illegal star pass then for the from the jammer Liz from the Northside Rollers. Funnily enough, that happened in the game I just played. Just the blockers got hit out as they were trying to pass the star, so it was called as an illegal star pass. So unfortunate, but it happens. And speaking of star passes, Berry Bad's just passed the start of Bambi Von Smasher. I think this is just a tactic here from the Vice City Rollers. Berry was actually jamming very well in that jam, so sometimes they will pass just purely to mix it up a little bit. So Bambi quickly getting through for 5 points, but the Death Star jammer is out of the penalty box bin, whatever you wish to call it, but of course has met up with a wall of Vice City Roller blockers who are recycling her back. Behemoth Rhapsody is known for that. She is a tall lady, and it doesn't take much for her to push her hips and knock you out. So we don't have very long left in the game, so only 7 and a bit minutes. So we're heading up to the last probably 6 jams. Canberra has taken a fairly big lead, well, very big lead, so I don't think Northside can come back from here, but it'd be good to see them end strongly because they've had a pretty good game and been playing some very good derby out there. Vice City Rollers are a strong team, so with a lot of experience behind them. Bubbles up on the line for the Vice City Rollers. She is a powerful skater, so she just punches her way through. Mind you, she has been collected in the pack then. However, she did not realise she was lead jammer then. I was waiting and waiting. She got out second, but the Death Star jammer did not get lead due to, I think, a no pass no penalty. So Bubbles ended up with lead even though she came out second. But that held Northside down to a 0 jam. We have Vice City Rollers on 306 to 75 to Northside, with only 6 minutes left on the clock. Freudian Slit jamming again for the Vice City Rollers. Against, I can't quite see who we've got. Oh, Spink, 182. Spink's done a fair bit of jamming for the Death Stars, so nice work there from the Death Stars blockers. Recycling Freud all the way back. But we also have the Vice City Rollers holding back the Death Star jammer, and Freud is through for lead jammer. And it looks like that's just turned into a power jam as I see the Northside Rollers jammer 182 Spink go to the penalty box. Looks like this is her first penalty for the game, so she's done very well. Freud being held up at the pack, but she is through for 5 points for that pass. So after this, feel free to stick around for the next live broadcast. As I said, someone has moved my schedule, so I'm not much use telling you who's playing next, but we'd love to have you. And if you are near Canberra or in Canberra, please come down and hang out. There's plenty of tickets, plenty of room. We've got couple more games this afternoon over 2 different tracks, including Western Australia, South Sea Sirens, Richter City from New Zealand, Convict City. There is a huge list of amazing Australian teams and of course one team from New Zealand. So if you want to see some top level derby, this is the place to be. Okay, 4 minutes left on the clock. Where Bubbles lining up as a jammer again. Very Bad, Anthrax is a belligerent. And Overbearing on the track. Over Happy Birthday again. I think she spent the last 4 years having tournaments on her birthday or games, so she loves it. Who else would you want to send a birthday with? Okay, Bubbles has been caught up, but she's now hit the front of the pack. And she is lead jammer, and she has collected 5 points on that pass. We've seen another star pass from the Death Stars. But Canberra called that off before she could get any points. So we had 2 points in that pass to Bubbles and 0 to the Death Stars. So we have a points differential of around 250 now. This may have been the first time that these two teams have actually played each other, although we've been at a few tournaments now and again. Sometimes you don't get a chance to play other teams, depending on who's your pool and the pool results. So I don't recall Canberra playing Northside before, so it's pretty exciting to play a team that, if we have played them, it was a long time ago. Bambi Von Smasher having a think about whether she wants to call it. Then she has. We're down to only a couple of minutes on the board, so this will be probably the second last jam, I guess. We have Miss Ebola up on the jam line for the Death Stars against Freudian Slit. Freud using Knuckles there as a bit of a barge through the outside. So Canberra is lead jammer. I believe our Death Star jammer, Miss Ebola, has not quite made it out of the pack yet. She's taken a bit of a tumble there at the back. So she's not got through from her initial pass. until about now. Nice work there. Freud is hitting the back of the pack. She is lead jammer. And she's called that off before Miss Ebola could collect any points. Okay, so the clock is ticking below 40 seconds now. So this will be the last jam unless for some reason it only goes for 10 seconds and gets called and then someone has to call a timeout, etc., etc. So this is likely to be the last jam. We're just having a quick official timeout while the rest patch up the sidelines with their sticky tape. On the jam line we have Bubbles, 303. Coming up against Liz. I think it's quite fitting that Liz is doing the last jam. She's jammed like a demon for her team. And we have Very Bad blocker for the Vice City Rollers in the sim bin. So Vice City Rollers will be starting with 3 blockers: Chaos, Behemoth Rhapsody and Is a Belligerent. All right, so this is it. Bubbles coming up against a fair bit of pressure there at the back of the pack, but Behemoth Rhapsody and Chaos and Is a Belligerent also making Liz's time on the track very difficult. Bowie just nudging her out there and drawing her back to make her yield behind the pack. Bubbles got through for lead jammer and is on her scoring pass, but is also copping that medicine from the number 83 blocker from Death Stars. Behemoth Rhapsody must have done something wrong because she is in the bin for her 6th major, but it looks like she won't get fouled out because there's no time left on the clock, and this is definitely going to be the last jam of the day. Nice work from the Canberra blockers. We've had another star pass, so Liz has passed that to, I think it's Roxy Del Rue. Nice work from Very Bad. Just a quick bump of the hip there, knocking her out. Bubbles scored another 5 points for that pass. The Death Stars collected 1 point. So that was definitely the final jam. Our unofficial final score is 337 to 76. Convincing win by the Canberra's Vice City Rollers 18, who I think are currently on the top of their pool. They're from Pool 1, but don't quote me on that because I haven't checked all the results. So that score is now final. Thank you for joining me. It's been fun. There is a few more games for you to watch and listen to, and we hope you stick around. And I think I'll sign off now. This is Pink Mist from Canberra, Quad Save the Queen tournament over this June Queen's birthday long weekend. Now there's lots of cuddles on the track. It's just beautiful. Okay, signing off now. Bye-bye.
Better bearings are reliable and long-lasting. Spend less time mucking around with your gear and more time on the track. betterbearings.com.au